Hi, I'm Rachel from Rachel's Sewing Projects, and in this video we're going to make a sweater out of this fabric, but we're also going to spice things up with a little bit of faux leather. So watch the whole video to see the end result. First, cut out your sweater. I'm using a raglan pattern for kids, and I'm using my beamer to cut it out with my rolling blade. We're going to make some leaves on this sweater to make it a fall themed sweater. I cut out some leaves out of paper. These leaves I printed out. I used two different kinds of leaves. Then cut out a piece of fabric from the fabric you want your leaf to be. And make sure it's big enough for the leaf. Then I cut out an extra piece of fabric of my sweater fabric because the fabric I use for my leaf is too thin and the sweater would be too cold, so I'm double layering it and then putting it down on the sweater fabric with some temporary glue. Once you've done that, trace out your leaf with a washable pen on the fabric you just cut out. Then put your fabric down on the inside of the sweater and pin it in place. After that, stitch out the leaf on your sewing machine. I'm using my Veritas Isabel and I'm using a lightning bolt stretch stitch. I'm putting my needle all the way up to the left and then sew around with the foot lining up with the marked line. Once you've sewn it in place, trim away the excess fabric on the back. Then turn it around. Grab your leaf stencil again and lay it down in between the stitches. And then trace around it with a pen again. Then cut out the leaf on the front side on the marked line. Make sure you don't cut out the extra fabric on the back. Once you've done that, you can see that the edges are a little bit floppy, so you have to stitch it down really close to the edge. Once you've done that, your leaf is secure in place. Then you can repeat the process for other leaves or just stop here. In the second part, we're going to put the sweater together. First, grab your sleeve and look what is the front and the back. You can see that the front is a little bit lower on the sleeve and the back is a higher point. So determine what side you're going to start with and then grab your front or your back side and pin it along the curved edge. You can do this for both sleeves at the same time. Just make sure you're putting it on the right side. For stitching it together, I'm using my Veritas Simone. An overlocker. You can also do this on a normal sewing machine, but make sure you use a stretch stitch. Once you've done the front or the back, you can do the other side. It's easier now because you can't mix it up anymore. Once you've done that, fold your sleeves towards each other, so you have the front and the back on each other and you have your sleeves doubled. And then sew along the sleeve all the way down to the bottom. Make sure the corner of the sleeve and the front or back side are aligned. That's the most important part. Now we're going to sew the ribbing. First put them all right sides together and sew the small edge. When you're putting on the neckband, make sure you fold it in half. Then divide it in 4 different pieces. Fold your neckband on the seam and mark the other side. Then place the seam and the mark on top of each other and mark the other 2 edges. You're doing this too for the neck hole itself, but put the shoulder sleeves together and mark the front and back, and then put the front and back together to mark the other center points. This is not exactly in the middle of the shoulders. For the armbands, I usually only do 2 pins, and for the bottom I do 4, but this is a little bit more easy. and sew it all together on your favorite Simone or sewing machine. Once you're finished, you've created a sweater with a reversed applique, which what this is called. The possibilities are endless. You can do animals, hearts, or other objects. Your creativity is the limit. So I'm very curious to see what you can make. So tag us if you make something from this video. Until the next video, bye!